Nation is incredibly happy with your decision. Talk about why you're coming back.
I mean, why not, man? It's Oklahoma, man. It's where I've been my whole career. You know, it's a place that I love. You know, obviously it was a very tough decision. I think, you know, the heart wanted to stay here. At the end of the day, you can't turn that down. You know, the pen was to the paper, and it just didn't feel right. You know, I wasn't ready to leave this program. You know, all that we built. You know, going into year 3 with Coach Venables, I wasn't ready to leave just yet.
Can you talk about just the last week of thinking you might leave and then saying you're going to come back? Like, take us through that process.
Yeah, it was a headache, man. It was probably one of the most stressful weeks of my life. You know, I was pretty much like fully committed to, you know, they already cleaned out my locker. Everything was ready to go. And, you know, Coach V called me on Friday. You know, really just, you know, sat down and talked it through with him again. And like I said before, you know, just didn't feel like I was ready to leave yet. You know, didn't want to rush that. You never have this time to go back to college. And I really just want to finish out my senior year and everything that comes with that.
I know how much you love Coach Venables. How much did that conversation have to do with you being back?
I mean, quite a bit. You know, Coach V's, you know, invested so much into me. He's given me so much. You know, I think it's the least I can do is come back for one more season.
How tough was that first conversation you had with him when you told him that you were thinking about leaving?
I mean, when I first talked to him, you know, I told him I was fully decided. You know, well, if you're talking to Coach V, you can't really have any doubt because he's going to talk to you for hours and try and convince you to stay. So I knew when I called him that first time I had to be 100% committed. And, you know, he gave me his spiel, and I said, look, Coach, this is what's best for my family. And, you know, he had my back 100%. He's like, if that's really what you think, you know, I'm going to support you no matter what. You know, you've done so much for this university. You've given so much to the University of Oklahoma. And, you know, obviously that didn't stick. So we talked again, and, you know, it was on his mind. He wanted to reach back out, and I'm glad he did.
When you're going through that process, what kind of draft feedback did you get back?
I mean, I haven't got my grade back. You know, it wasn't really about, you know, where I was going to get drafted. I know I can compete, you know, at that level. You know, if it was for money, I would have left, man. But I love the university, and it's much more money, man. It was all about being with my guys, being with the team, you know, and putting on that jersey one more time.
How much?
Go ahead.
How much did just the opportunity to play in the SEC for a year and get that under your belt kind of play into that decision too?
I mean, quite a bit. You know, we're going to be playing against the best, man. I'm excited for that, man. All those games, I can't wait to get announced Wednesday. I'm excited for that, man. Looking forward to it.
Talk about, you know, the social media posts with Boz. I know you and Brian have become very close. He's talked about how much he really enjoys watching you play and how he's gotten to know you and everything. Talk about that video and how it got put together and how much fun that had to be for you.
Yeah, that video was in the works for a while. It was going to be, you know, late season Butkus campaign, but obviously we had to reuse some footage, so we took advantage of that. You know, for everyone that was saying that I took the weekend to shoot that video is not true. The weekend was very tough for me. I was, you know, kind of locked up in my room, just had the phone down, just thinking and praying. But you know, Boz has been amazing, man. Just for him to go out, and we shot that video, and it was a great experience. Everything that has going into it. I got some cool pictures from Finna release right after this, so it was a great experience.
Now that's Barry's fur coat, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. There's some lore behind that jacket. It was the same fur coat, the mink fur coat that Barry Switzer wore when he recruited the Boz, went to his high school, and yelled at him. So the Boz had to make a few phone calls, and it's a nice jacket. I might have to get myself one.
Did you have to give it back immediately?
Yeah, you know, I couldn't keep it. Took a few pictures, and you know, he made sure he was that was coming back with him.
Was the Corvette part of the deal? Do you get it?
The Corvette was not part of the deal. You know, hey, but I'll start putting money in the bank to maybe get one day.
When Billy made his announcement, did that play anything into your decision at all?
200%. You know, me and Billy came in here together. You know, we've done everything together, and we really tried to build this defense together. You know, when he said he was coming back, you know, we were talking right after the TCU game. You know, everything that we've done, we wanted to do it together. And, you know, when I kind of wanted to leave and he said he was staying, it kind of, you know, yes, it did sway my decision for sure.
I think you two, Jalil and Ethan, are the last guys standing from that 21 class.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean just for you four to come back and kind of lead this program into the SEC next year?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this ever since we got on campus. You know, our times now, you know, it's crazy with the transfer portal, you know, the turnaround. You know, I think we're probably the only four that have probably played. There's a few other guys, Isaiah Coe and JK, that played in the Alamo Bowl. But, you know, that was only 2 years ago. So a lot of guys haven't experienced, you know, what San Antonio's like. I'm really excited to have the opportunity.
Transfer portal's nothing new, but you guys do have guys coming in and out, like today with Caden.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that inside the locker room? Do you guys talk about that any?
I mean, you know, people kind of talk about the money aspect. And I think, you know, how it is right now is insane, you know, with everything that's going on. I don't think it's, you know, you guys know how it is. It's crazy. It's turning into like a full business, which is, you know, insane. Obviously, I think some stuff's going to have to happen. But, I mean, everyone's happy for each other. You know, when a guy enters the portal and wants a better opportunity somewhere else, I mean, there's nothing you can do. We all love each other on this field. You know, we're not going to bash a teammate. You know, at the end of the day, we break it down in family every single time.
Danny, you're a great. Dan, you're a great player, but coming back, obviously you're coming back to get better too. When you look at yourself, what do you see as a player, as yourself as a player?
I feel like I've always scratched the surface. Only with 2 years under Coach Venables, I've improved so much, but I still have such a long ways to go. I mean, I talk with that with Coach V. If I'm coming back, I'm going to want to take this lightly. There's still so much I have to do, and I only have 1 more year to do it.
You talked about that first conversation with Brent. What was the conversation like when you told him you were officially coming back?
Yeah, so I talked to him on Friday. I kind of sat down, made that decision, and then my dad talked to him first on, I think, Sunday night, and obviously Coach Venables was very ecstatic, and then he called me back like 10 minutes later, said he had chill bumps for a while, and it was very, very easy. That was probably an easier conversation we've had, and then I told Coach Roof after I released the video, because he's a happy birthday to him, turned 60, but so he didn't get the news till after, but it was a great little birthday present for him.
Danny, you already here obviously when Brent came along. Going through this process, get to see Brent the recruiter come out a little bit with you?
Maybe a little bit, but I kind of know where his heart was at. He didn't really have to sell me on anything. Everything he told me I already knew. It was just a matter of what was best for me.
What do you think this does for the defense, you and Billy coming back?
I think it gives it a great foundation, between me, Billy, and Ethan. Those are veteran guys at all 3 levels of that defense. Really have a lot of experience, a lot of play time that can help lead the younger guys that are coming in, and the guys that have already been here establish themselves.
Danny, getting back out here, actually putting the uniform back on, practicing, did it kind of make you feel like, yeah, this was the right decision?
Absolutely. Being out with my guys, going through, another practice, having those team separate periods with everyone, kind of getting back into it was a great experience, man. I love it out here. I couldn't leave just yet.
Hey, did the equipment guys have your stuff in the back room somewhere? I mean, did they have it when you told them to put it back?
Well, I mean, I came into my locker room after my final, and I see my katana just in the middle of the floor, and I was like, what is this? Like, this stays in my locker. And I was a little upset. I had some nice shoes and all my stuff was in a trash bag. I was like, this is ridiculous. I didn't even release anything before it said I was leaving. They cut me off the red card. My fingerprint didn't work, and I was a little upset. I told Coach V I just need the weekend, and then they took it and ran and cut me off everything.
Tough place.
Yeah, they're quick to replace you around here, man. It is how it is. It's just a business.
I'm glad you got all that stuff back. Hopefully you got some new stuff, maybe, right?
Yeah, well, I had to get new gloves. I found my old cleats, but it was great to be back.
Danny, what have you seen from Jackson Arnold just throughout spring, the season, everything that makes you feel like, yeah, he's going to be the guy of the future here?
I mean, his elite ball placement, elite instincts. I mean, you see at the BYU game when he made that adjustment to Jaleel for that, that pass, that was a critical, that literally sealed the game off. He's a competitor, man. His instincts are second to none, and he's a great player. I mean, we already know what he does. We've seen the film. He's a great leader. He's going to step into that role starting, with this bowl game, which is a great opportunity for him. There's no one better I'd like to lead this team.
And he's ready?
Absolutely.
I know it's the offensive side of the ball, but with Joe John seeing an elevated role, with Seth Luttrell seeing an elevated role, what has been maybe your reaction to that?
I'm extremely happy. I haven't really seen too much of Coach Seth Luttrell, but I know Joe John, since he's always coached me in special teams. He's a great coach, great leader, great family man, and there's no one better I'd see for that role.
Danny, leadership is such a big deal. You and Billy being back and Ethan on defense, that sets that up. It's going to be all new on the offensive side. You worried about that, or do you feel like Jackson would just step into that role, or somebody else?
I mean, Jackson, like I said before, he's a great leader. I mean, he's going to fit right in. I think he can lead even better than Dylan did. It's just who he is.
What do you think of Sooner Nation's reaction to your video and how much they were just eating it up?
I mean, I kind of knew I was going to get a pretty good response. I kind of had to throw a little smoke screen out there with the locker, which was genuine. I saw my locker getting cleaned out. I was a little sad, and I was listening to the ref, and I was like, and he literally said, like, I know he's sitting back and laughing, which I was. I literally, you guys fell for the bait just how I wanted it, so I kind of got you guys on that.